right, so this would be on item B. I'd like to make a motion to support Pat DePriest for another $10,000 in her defense in the Pung federal lawsuit.
Support.
Discussion?
I was going to add the case number on your motion, but I don't know if that's necessary.
I guess just for clarification purposes, then you're putting a motion forward to support another $10,000 and a cap.
Mhm.
So taking the total amount to 20,000 or
To 20.
just another 10,000 upon what's been spent at this point?
I'd like to make it for, well, I mean, you basically are saying the same thing, so you're asking whether or
I'm
not
not
the
sure
motion
what-
would be a maximum of $20,000, or if we're saying that at this point, we'll like to continue to fund for an additional 10 and cap it at the additional 10, over the original 10 that we put in, so I mean, it's the
I
same
don't know
thing.
the
It's
numbers
it's
and
semantics.
indicated
It's the
Yeah.
same, it's the
It's
same
pretty
thing.
much
Yeah,
the
it's the
same
same
thing.
Do you want an update at the end of that 10?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
just same, I mean, do you want
I
to
mean,
make
I
your
would hope
motion the
that-
Stick
same
with
as
this.
the same?
Well,
as
it
before?
wasn't stated, that's why.
What's that?
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
like to make your motion, to cover for an additional $10,000 for legal defenses in case number 18 CV 1334, Pat DePriest in her personal
Right.
capacity? Should that cap be reached, the Township Board of Trustees will reconsider.
Okay. You want to hand it to me?
Oh,
Or you could just say, yeah, that.
yeah, I mean, you can.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
I've read
I
it.
mean, either or, yeah, whatever you
Rolling their
said.
eyes there.
So I think that it pretty much covers it.
I mean, we should keep that for a minute.
I probably should, just to keep everything.
I underlined it.
Okay, so the motion would be that the township should cover an additional $10,000 for legal defenses in case number 18-CV-113, Patricia DePriest in her personal capacity. Should that cap be reached, the Township Board of Trustees will reconsider, and at that point, we would also like an update.
I guess one of the issues would be if people are comfortable with the amount. It seems two issues. One, do we continue support? And the other is to what extent, and then to cap it and then get feedback. I'm not opposed to the 10, 5 could be another figure, and do it more incrementally and see, and get more review of what's going on and how it's progressing. Might be a more prudent manner of doing this, rather than continuing to toss the 10,000 out and waiting in between before we hear anything. So maybe a lesser amount would be another possibility too, if that would make it more palatable for board members.
I think 10,000 is a good amount, just because then we have to pay our lawyer to review it and then bring it back, and if we keep having to do that, it might,
Okay.
But I mean, seeing where we're at in the case, I think that 10,000 is a good amount. I mean, that should cover it, I'm hoping anyway. I believe it would. But it does say up to. It doesn't say,
Right.
Further discussion on this?
I always think you should, I still say we should back her up. She was doing her job.
Well, we've put our foot in the water. We've already allocated and spent 10 grand for the associates' defense and that suit. And at this point, I'd support throwing in another 10 grand.
It's an additional 33 hours, so
Yeah.
that's what it about works out to.
Okay, so we're making it a max of 10 grand,
Yeah.
not to exceed, is
Yeah.
what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, that's what it's-
Essentially, the same thing we did the first
Yeah.
time.
I mean, I have no problem with the support aspect of it. I think that, you know, as you've said, we've gotten ourselves involved, and this is an employee of the township, so I think that we have to offer support. You know, but it's again, how much do we keep on doing this? So, you know, let's see where this takes us, and then, you know, we reevaluate at the end of the day.
Is there a breakdown on how it's been spent so far? I mean, I don't want to sound like a jerk here, but
No, we get the invoices, we review them.
Yeah,
if
that's
she's
was
making a
part of the
phone call to
motion.
her lawyer every day,
We get the invoices,
Yeah.
they're detailed, they bill in 15-minute increments.
yeah. So if she's making a phone call to her lawyer every day, that's costing a lot of money.
Bill, you know, he chose to support her in the past.
Or is that
The
just-
township is not named in this suit, so,
Well, you're right. If
are
she
we,
wants to spend her money.
are we required to support her? No, we're not. But it's not our place to get in to tell her
Yeah,
how
not-
often to call whomever. But it-
Good point, Tim.
it-
No, I'm sorry. That's a good
We,
point.
we are in a very interesting position to be paying for a lawsuit that, the township's not named in. Supporting your employee is very important, you know, I believe. Not knowing how things will turn out. But then, you know, you go another direction. The court of law is gonna determine guilt or innocence, if guilt is found. Should the employee have some responsibility back to the township? That's something we can discuss at another point in time,
Okay.
but, we're in a interesting situation that, we're taking tax dollars, payers' dollars, and, supporting someone in court that we're not being named in a suit as the township, so.
But it should be stated also, Tim, that we are authorized with the discretion, we're duly authorized by statute to make this expenditure.
Yeah.
We have the
Yes, we have
discretion
that
to do it,
discretion,
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Further discussion?
No.
All right.
Call the vote.
Let's call this to vote then. This would
Should this be
be,
a roll call?
I don't think so. but-
No?
we can do it any way you want. You want to do roll call, or you want to do?
Why don't we do a roll call?
Let's do a roll call.
Yeah.
Okay. Supervisor Gunning?
Yes.
Treasurer Rice?
Yes.
Trustee Hauk?
Yes.
Trustee Micus?
Yes.
Trustee Lannan?
Yes.
Trustee Worley?
Yes.
Clerk Cody, yes?
Motion carries. And move on to our
you.
second to the last
Thank you,
item.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Dave.
Which is item
B.
C. This is going to be annual review of board governance policy 3.6, supervisor's role in the board's process, postponed from the 6/26 meeting.
Okay. Do you want me to start? I can start
it.
if you'd like. I think you did an excellent job today. I mean, an excellent job today. You did, like, you timed people just right. You were, you know, when people were misspoken, you corrected them. I mean, it was an
Absolutely.
excellent meeting.
Thank you.
You did a great job. I mean,
Absolutely.
Last meeting, not so much, kind of left, and it was like frantic, hectic. But, I mean, today, like I said, great job.
Yes.
I mean, that's not really, but, yeah. I don't know where my stuff is. Anybody else?
Yeah, some improvement,
Yes,
Ben, as far as your
I want to say that.
role to assure integrity of the board's process. That would be the, the board meeting that we had tonight. But, not 100%. I mean, and no one is. You've heard our comments in the past. They were spoken here after your abrupt departure at the last meeting. So this is not news to you how we, as a board, every member of the board has spoken one way or another about your role and responsibility to protect the integrity of the board and the township and the way we operate. So, as I was preparing for this today, thinking about it, I came to the awareness that we essentially what we're doing here is we as individual board members manage ourselves as a board. So we manage this board, and we manage and review the performance of ourselves and each of us individually. And today we're reviewing your performance. So you've heard our performance, or I should say you've heard our review. So the next step I would see is that you have leadership qualities that need to be improved. And my expectations of you as being a member of this board is that you would work to improve those skills that you have and put those abilities that you have in the right place, and to control aspects of conduct that aren't becoming to an elected supervisor here. One example that I will point out tonight that just seems so out of place of a supervisor of a township is to lose sight of what the issue is in front of us and bring up some other agenda that you might be carrying about how things are done and why something occurred, such as, the timeliness of information today, when indeed you knew that item that we had earlier today was on the agenda, but yet you tended to, but you didn't tend, you indeed did talk about how it was a surprise to you. And now, come on, Ben. That doesn't help us out by doing things like that. So work on it. You've accomplished many things in your life. You've done great things. And here's an opportunity for you to step up and do a great job as a supervisor for the township.
Thank you.
I keep bringing up the word integrity too. Adherence to moral and ethical principles, soundness of moral character, and honesty. I think you should abide to those. Another thing, I brought this up many times, Ben, spend some time in here. I had a guy today tell me he's in this office a few times a month. He said, you guys have been elected to this board for 2.5 years. He said in that 2.5 years, he said he comes in here 3-4 times a month. He said he's never seen you in here.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've mentioned to you many times, do your job. Use your office. I mean, is there dust on the chair? I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, because I've never seen you here. I come by here many times a week. I never see you here, Ben. Please, start coming in the office. Interact. Show your leadership qualities. Thank you.
I'm going to chime in. First of all, I do want to compliment you on the way you handled yourself tonight in the meeting. That was probably the best. I think that you regulated the timing. There was one person in the back who was at times speaking out and laughing inappropriately when people had a difference of opinion, and you drew attention to that. So, and I definitely appreciated that. Also, it was nice for the last 2 weeks not getting these incendiary emails. It's been a nice hiatus in that regard, and so I appreciated that too. I spoke about, the emails and all that. I want to focus on something else that I think really needs to be remedied. I think it has to do, Ben, with the way that you disseminate information into the township and your quick, hot reaction to whatever you hear from people that's against the township. I don't think it does the board, the township, or the township staff, or any of our residents any good if you are personalizing, if you are going out and inciting and inflaming the residents with facts that at times aren't even substantiated. What I have found, Ben, is that you do two things. One is that if people disagree or don't go along with the way you see things, you personalize it. It becomes personal attacks, it becomes character assassinations, it becomes accusations about people. That's totally unprofessional, and I would expect more from you than that type of behavior. The other part of it is that, when issues are presented by the residents, your role isn't to go in there and to stir them up and get them heated and to come here to burn down the township. It's to help find conflict resolution, to help people understand, and for us to all to work together as a team. You're being paid close to $31,000 a year. And if you throw in Social Security and Medicare, we're talking $33,200 that you're being paid as a township supervisor. And yet, you're not operating as a township supervisor, you're operating more like the chief adversary of the township. Because whenever there's an issue that comes up, you immediately are looking to degrade Mark, or Kim, or the board, or other people here, instead of trying to find conflict resolution. So, on one hand, I'm not real optimistic that this is going to change, because I feel that the best predictor of past behavior, a best predictor of future behavior, is past behavior. So, but that being said, I'm also going to hold out hope that somehow we can remedy this situation. I think it's horrible that we have these discussions meeting after meeting. I don't look forward to it. I dread it. Just can't wait till the damn meeting is over. And it shouldn't be that way. So I hope that tonight what we saw in you and the fact that you we weren't getting these heated emails and toxic emails for the past 2 weeks. I think that's to be commended, and I hope that you continue to work in that direction. If you work with us, we're there to work with you. This isn't an us against you and you against them. It's not the way this is set up. I don't know if you've ever had to work in a situation where you've had to collaborate with people. But, maybe there's a learning curve to that. But nonetheless, I think it's incumbent upon you to really do what you did tonight and do it now consistently. So I hope that this can change. And this held out a little bit of hope tonight by seeing how you handle things tonight. So,
Kim?
I think everybody's hit the nail right on the head. I mean, tonight was great. You made sure people kept to their times. Everybody's already said it. You handled yourself very well tonight, and I look forward to seeing more of it. I know you can do it.
Okay.
Everybody knows you can do it. So.
All right. Thank you for the,
Tim?
Oh, Tim. Did you have any?
Oh, not at all there. Supervisor's role. 3.6. Yeah, we're all individuals elected by whatever crazy citizens cast the vote our way. At the end of the day, most votes wins, I guess. Ben, I think you got a lot of great qualities. I like you. You're personable. You're funny. You are broad in your thought. You have a lot of good qualities that have made you a successful business owner in town. So that's a great skill set to have. Does that same skill set transition into the public arena? Probably some refinement needs to be taken. You know, business owners make decisions, and that's the way it's going to be, and it can happen overnight. Not really the environment this works in. But our supervisor's role policy says the supervisor assures the integrity of the board process and occasionally represents the board to outside parties. So when you represent the board at outside functions, it's the board you're representing. We've talked about, you know, there's a vote taken, it may not go the way you voted, but we support the decision of the board. And that needs to be done, you know, sincerely. An example I would cite that was very negative in my perspective, when you ran the board at the previous meeting, I believe it was. You know, we have our public comment, and you specifically read out, well, let me just throw in here, I guess. I may have already said it, that the board abides consistently with its own rules. And in public comment, it talks about you have time to speak, we simply listen, we do not answer questions. And you went way outside of the integrity of the board's process at the previous meeting, I felt, when a gentleman was asking about leasing a vehicle. And on at least 3 occasions, you were questioning and encouraging and saying, I want his question answered, where you said, we're not here to answer questions. So that was just 180 degrees away from what you said, how we operate. So that confuses the board, it confuses the citizens. And at that same meeting, encouraging another person who went well over their time, who was not talking well of a staff member here at the township, but it seemed that you were strongly encouraging to keep going on and keep hammering away, which goes so against what I believe the board, let alone the supervisor's role, is about. So, as I say, everybody's strong in some areas, everybody needs work in some areas. I hope that you put away any agendas. I don't know why you ran, other than prior to you being elected, you had some serious chip on your shoulder with what was going down next door. And oftentimes that's why people run for elected positions, but I don't think that's the right reason to run. But, I guess that's our annual review of 3.6.
All right.
Kumbaya, Ben.
Yeah. All right, so item D. This is discussion to inform FY 2020, or 2020 budget development and what goals to execute to achieve ends.
So I don't, it's gone up to the board how much you want to get into this at this point. It is 10 till 10. We had, I think it was the end of
Number
May.
11.
I think it was the end of May. We began this discussion, and
Yeah, mine's not.
following that meeting, I sent out a document and asked for some feedback, and then sent out a reminder last week. Received some feedback, appreciate it. But I haven't heard from everybody. We can kind of go through that now if we want, if you have kind of what you want.
I don't know about anybody
Start
else,
doing
but
it now, I can
I say
try to
postpone.
schedule a special meeting, because we seem to be kind of starting to run into this problem, to try to, find some focused time. I know nobody likes a special meeting deal. But I'm not real confident we'll get a lot of good work done starting now.
No,
don't-
I agree with that.
I'm willing to go through it, if that's the board's pleasure.
I'd like to postpone.
I
it
would
if
like
we
to
could. I am
postpone.
like-
I'd like to put this on the next meeting agenda, if it's at all possible, but maybe make this our first item on the agenda so that we actually get through it, because I think it's going to take some time.
Well, it all depends on what
We
things
got a lot
on
of
the
things
agenda
the
are.
next agenda.
We do.
Is
I don't-
there?
Putting it on at the beginning is fine with me.
But everybody
You
has
can
to sit
recognize
through
when
it
you
if
have-
it's, there's
Oh,
public
right,
comes in,
Right, right. What, is there a lot on the next agenda that you know of right now?
The second meeting in July,
Yeah.
I believe. I mean, I have this visual, I don't have all the items, but my visual is about 7 lines long. with
Wanna meet
7
earlier?
items or so.
Could we meet earlier that night?
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock?
Yeah. Let's
On
do that.
Wednesday?
Huh?
On Wednesday, on our
That
regular
Wednesday.
meeting night,
Can
you
you-
work
Phil,
6?
can you do a 6 o'clock? I think you're the one that.
6 a.m.? I
I
get
can
up
do
at
6.
4.
Well, no, I can't do 6 a.m.
Hey,
I'll
You
be
won't see
working.
me then.
I will be
get
working
them.
then.
Will that hour be sufficient?
But yeah, if we could do it a little earlier.
6 o'clock, I think, would be more than enough time, provided I can distribute a document like that with a lot more red lines on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
I
Kim
have to
Rice and
type
Phil
mine out. I
Michaels.
screenshotted it and
Really,
sent
what's
it
this?
because it
Could,
wouldn't work.
would we be making
Yes,
that,
Phil.
Mine's like way up here. I didn't do it down here.
would we be making that then sort of like a work session from 6 to 7, and then 7 starting our meeting? Is that what you
Yeah,
have in mind?
I mean,
Because then that way, we're
That-
not interfering with people coming in here and sitting and having to listen to
Well,
this.
I think
because-
that's 5:45, 6:45,
thought I
for
handed
an hour,
mine
you
in.
need a couple minutes in between.
Okay.
Right.
Have people starting to come to the meeting a little bit.
Okay.
Quarter to, you want to go 6 o'clock then? Right?
Yeah.
6 o'clock, and we're gonna, we'll do it, what's that?
Is it-
45 minutes.
Because he's saying people start
Yeah.
coming in.
And we do like a work session as opposed to the,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
All right, we'll send something out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have, we didn't vote on that motion to,
I'll make a motion that we postpone this until the next board meeting and start at 6. No, sorry, what was the time? Quarter to,
6.
at,
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
okay, all right, so 6 p.m. and go until 7 p.m. Or
6 to
6:45.
6:45 and
Sorry,
be a
6 to
work session.
6:45 and be a work session.
Yeah, and should be more specific that
Yeah.
the item we're discussing is to continue discussion to inform the FY 2020 budget development and what goals to execute to achieve the ends would be the meeting for our
moved.
work session.
So moved.
all in favor?
Well, we need a support.
Oh, we need
Sure.
support.
Well, I thought you supported it.
Yeah, so do
Oh, okay, I support it.
There we go.
You did.
So,
Out there and
we
get
have
it.
a motion and support, discussion, yada, yada, yada. All in favor, postponing this item
Aye.
and creating a work session, it's starting at 6 o'clock. What date is that, our next meeting?
The
24.
24th.
24th
24th.
of July, December. 24th of July. We're not punchy, are
I
we?
should make it back.
Um,
I should.
Call the question.
All in favor?
Call vote.
Aye. All right, and then, so,
That little note.
we have other items on our agenda. We have
Oh,
managers'
yeah.
comments.
Manager's
and
comments.
Oh,
Final board comments.
he doesn't have any. So the next one.
What's that?
He just said he didn't have any
You
comments.
didn't have any comments? Okay, and then final board comments?
None.
None. And then, so we need a motion to
Oh.
adjourn.
Well, make sure
Does
there's
anybody have
others.
any?
They
Is
didn't
there any-
say that
oh.
they didn't have any.
Okay.
So,
Yes,
That'd be
I
important.
just wanted to throw out as we look into the near future. Clerk Cody was requesting a closed session to learn more about water and sewer rates. I'm assuming work's being done to help put together
A
something.
training session.
To educate us a little bit more about what this possibly will look like and entail. I had requested, and hopefully sometime soon, to get varied viewpoints from folks in here regarding marijuana laws. The city's been pretty active in that area. Maybe we can learn a little bit about what they're doing, so I do hope to see some of that take place. And it may be prudent if our manager looks into some changes in insurance coverages that would allow for some legal defenses for staff.
Good point.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
I had one question. We it brought up the water study back in, I think, April or something like that, and I think that June was supposed to be the, do we have any?
All the comments have been supplied back. I think we're in a position, I gotta talk to Nancy to get the scheduling exercise done. I think we're in a position to have that joint meeting, all the back and forth final product is generated. We just gotta schedule a meeting now.
Is it on their turf or our turf?
More than comfortable.
I want the home, I want home
Baseball
field, man.
They got more people.
Well, we have new tables and chairs at Jamison Hall, we could meet over
Well,
there.
I get to sit in the hard chairs
Yeah.
over here, though.
I had just a couple quick ones. Back in December 19th, we approved a wage study. Anything happen with that? I mean, I thought that was only supposed to take that guy 4 months.
That's a presentation at your meeting next. at your
Oh,
next
he said
meeting.
that?
It's one of
I
the
didn't-
7 or
He
8
No, he
items.
didn't say that.
It's on the agenda.
Okay. Then the other one, that the Little League tournament starts, what, next weekend?
Yep,
Yes.
yeah.
So,
How's fields and
How's-
everything?
how's that
Looking
going?
good?
middle of next week,
yeah,
18th.
I don't know.
It's the 18th through the 24th, is that right?
These guys were in the district finals, I think, last night or
It's a
something.
great way to get out of town.
Our Union Township team was.
Right, the playoffs to get to
Yeah.
the next week has been going on. They've been
Yeah.
occurring here.
Oh, yeah,
as
well,
well,
yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion, did we make a motion to adjourn?
Not yet.
Oh, I make a motion that we adjourn. We're done?
Support.
Aye.
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 Bye-bye.